बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम खातून हज़रात, कैसे हैं आप? आपके मूड कैसे हैं? आपके मिजाज कैसे हैं? मैं आपका होस्ट और दोस्त अरशद भट्टी हूँ। कैमरामैन हमारे साथ हैं साबिर गाया। आज औताक बैंक्वेट हॉल में इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और थोड़ी देर में एक प्रोग्राम जो है यहाँ पे उसका इनेकाद किया जा रहा है। ब्रैम्पटन से मेंबर पार्लियामेंट शफकत अली साहब ब्रैम्पटन सेंटर से मेंबर पार्लियामेंट हैं। उन्होंने इसको अरेंज किया है और उनकी टीम ने इसको अरेंज किया है। कैलिन पैरिश मिसागा से मेयर के उम्मीदवार हैं और आज वो मेहमान खसूसी होंगी और मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के बहुत से लोग, हर तबका फ़िक्र से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले लोग आज के इस प्रोग्राम में शरीक होंगे और कैरोलिन पैरिश को अपनी हिमायत का यकीन दिलाएंगे और अदा करेंगे। इस हवाले से जो भी प्रोग्राम की तफसील होगी थोड़ी देर में हम आप तक के लिए पेश करेंगे। देखते रहिए टोरंटो 360 टीवी। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम खातून हज़रात, कैसे हैं आप? आपके मूड कैसे हैं? आपके मिजाज कैसे हैं? मैं आपका होस्ट और दोस्त अरशद भट्टी हूँ। कैमरामैन हमारे साथ हैं साबिर गाया। आज औताक बैंक्वेट हॉल में इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और थोड़ी देर में एक प्रोग्राम जो है यहाँ पे उसका इनेकाद किया जा रहा है। ब्रैम्पटन से मेंबर पार्लियामेंट शफकत अली साहब ब्रैम्पटन सेंटर से मेंबर पार्लियामेंट हैं। उन्होंने इसको अरेंज किया है और उनकी टीम ने इसको अरेंज किया है। कैलिन पैरिश मिसागा से मेयर के उम्मीदवार हैं और आज वो मेहमान खसूसी होंगी और मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के बहुत से लोग, हर तबका फ़िक्र से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले लोग आज के इस प्रोग्राम में शरीक होंगे और कैरोलिन पैरिश को अपनी हिमायत का यकीन दिलाएंगे और अदा करेंगे। इस हवाले से जो भी प्रोग्राम की तफसील होगी थोड़ी देर में हम आप तक के लिए पेश करेंगे। देखते रहिए टोरंटो 360 टीवी।
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Eamon Khan, and I will be your MC this afternoon. So a little bit about me. I'll just begin with a couple sentences. I've been politically involved for a very young age. I've volunteered on several different election campaigns with MPs, MPPs, or ministers. I worked at at the office of the Minister of Transport. So I'm very passionate about policy issues at both local and national levels. So that's me. But we have a lot of wonderful speakers planned for you today. And so I hope you will have a good time. Before we begin, I'd like to call onto the stage Faizan for a short recitation of the Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان.
First Asian women in this area to run for school board trustee. She was appointed on the Immigration and Refugee Board, where she's held several positions, and since then has also established Shalimar Housing and is one of the pioneers in establishing the Al Huda Institute. So please join me in welcoming onto the stage Mubin Qureshi.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to see you all here. Jazakallah khair for coming. And I just am so overwhelmed because I am here to introduce a friend I've known for many, many years. Pardon me. I'm so emotional, and I want us all to work hard and make sure that Carolin is in the mayor's office. I met her on a campaign trail. We were both so young and energetic, running door to door. And now I can't even climb these stairs. I need help. Okay. Carolin has been a great friend. She's been an advocate for many, many years for the just causes. She's been somebody who's outstanding, outspoken, and when she feels it's a just cause, then she really goes after it. And She advocated many social causes. And for justice, she stood out when it was time to speak about Iraq and then Palestine. She went to Palestine 25 years ago. And at that time, I had gone too. But the state did not change. They were as badly treated as they are now. They're worse now, in fact. But what happened, she got the first-hand glimpse of what was happening over there. And many of us knew, but yet we had turned a blind eye to it. Now, again, we cannot turn a blind eye. And I'm so grateful to see that Carolin is somebody who's taken a stand and is going to be championed. And we've got to admire the politicians that do take a stand, rather than the ones who just turn a blind eye. And I'm very, very grateful and hopeful that all of us will work hard and make sure that she is in the mayor's office. Carolyn, you bring a huge knowledge. Carolyn brings huge knowledge of municipal affairs, federal affairs, provincial affairs, you name it. She's had every office. And mashallah, she's done justice to all her offices. And I can't forget that she mentored Shafkat Ali and many other young politicians whom she was very helpful. And these politicians turned and they contributed a lot to the community. And I hope, Carolyn, for many more years, you keep on doing the good work. And with that, I encourage all of you to vote for her, not only vote yourself, all the people on your street, I want you to be calling everybody. So with that, and I thank Carolyn for coming, I thank Shafkat Ali, and all of you who put in the effort, put in this program together, and also who are walking door to door, canvassing. So keep on knocking the doors till 10th of June. We want her elected. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mubin, for kicking off our event with such passion. At this time, I'd like to introduce another passionate leader, demonstrated great dedication to our community through their service and through their leadership. Please join me in welcoming Khushwant Singh Bajwa onto the stage, please.
Thanks, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all the great faces we are looking back this afternoon in city of Mississauga, the one of the most populated cities in Canada, great residents. Personally, with Carolin Parish, I have more than 10 years of working experience as Vice Chair to Malton BIA. So no doubt, the development which we have experienced, the energy, the power she brings in, the passion she brings in to bring the new projects for the youth, especially for the sports, the development, the infrastructure, the safety, many things we have personally seen that Carolin Parish is always taking a front seat, a lead, and she brings in the development which city of Mississauga needs now. This will be the best time Mississauga deserves. Carolin Parish, Mississauga will be on the next level when we will be having her in the office of Mayor of Mississauga. Let's have a big round of applause for Carolin Parish.
Call another community leader onto this stage. Specifically, he's very well known in the Muslim community here. Please welcome Sheikh Adam Isa onto the stage, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I am very much delighted and happy to be here today with a momentum that all of us are supporting Carolin Parish. And Caroline, I want to tell you one thing. As a Muslim community who is actually 13% in population of Mississauga, the biggest number in any city in the world that we know up to now. It is Mississauga for Muslim community over here. So this is what I'm saying. Seeing over here, the biggest number of here, Masjid Kubris that you know, where you have the president, the imam, the congregation, the leaders, and the rest of the community. And actually, Mubin spoke very well for that point. What I'm telling you, and I live with you, we will, our own money, our own time, work for you, and we are asking you nothing. It is not because we need something personal. No, we want you to stand up what you stood up before for justice, for the right of everybody. Your office to be open for all, particularly for our ladies who have their hijab and be prevented to get their rights. That's what I need. We don't need anything, no personal at all, but that's what we need. I thank you all, and I welcome you all. And our work is, Shafqat and all the other brothers and friends, we will never get rest until Carolin Parish being elected as a mayor 10th of June. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
As well, she served in youth councils and has engaged with several ministers and MPs on discussions regarding youth engagement in politics. So please join me in welcoming onto the stage Ofa Khan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ofa, and I've lived in Mississauga pretty much my entire life. And as Eamon mentioned, I've been involved in many different political campaigns in this area, and I want to talk about some youth issues that are important to me and why I believe Carolin would be the perfect candidate to see them through. Carolin has a wealth of experience at all levels of government. This extensive background makes her uniquely qualified to address these diverse needs of our city. As young people, our future in Mississauga depends on having a leader who understands and prioritizes our needs. Carolin's experience and vision make her the ideal candidate to ensure our city remains a great place to live, work, and grow. One of the greatest challenges we encounter is our affordability of housing. While our parents and elders have secured homes, obtaining affordable housing in Mississauga poses a significant challenge for us. Despite the acknowledgement that housing falls beyond municipal jurisdiction, in the past, we were not able to receive adequate funding to address these issues effectively. As a result, I hope Carolin can advocate for these initiatives to enhance housing accessibility for everyone, particularly young people like myself. Additionally, entertainment and tourism are also crucial for Mississauga. We need a lot more spots where we can relax, have fun, and attract visitors. And I hope Carolin can develop entertainment and tourism hubs that cater to both residents and tourists. Finally, career planning and job opportunities are vital for our future. Mississauga is a highly populated city with a growing trend of high-tech companies setting up their offices here. And I hope Karen's leadership will attract even more businesses, creating high-quality job opportunities for young people. But while these issues are evident for youth, I have full confidence that Carolin will champion them, which is why I urge you to vote for Carolin in the upcoming mayoral election. Together, we can make Mississauga an even better place to call home.
Thank you, Ofa. All right, so the next person I'd like to call upon is someone that I've actually personally had the pleasure of working with for many, many years. When I first began getting involved in politics, he was a role model and someone that I looked up to. He spent over 20 years dedicating great effort to the Liberal Party and has demonstrated years of community service here in Mississauga as well. Today, as an elected MP, we see him raising his voice on several important issues in Parliament, including the work that he's doing in shining the light on the crisis in the Middle East, especially with also his visit to Palestine, along with some other MPs. So by those that have worked with him, he's described as humble and hardworking. So with great pleasure, I would like to welcome onto the stage MP Shafqat Ali.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon. Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar. What an amazing introduction, Ayman. I like to start off by thanking you all. And even before that, please give a round of applause for our MC for doing an amazing job. I wanted to write a speech, but could not because it's so long. It becomes a long journey and long speech. But I'd like to thank you all because this would not have been possible. Wouldn't become member of parliament without your support, without your participation. This event would not have been successful without your presence, without your participation. And you are the backbone of our whole journey, especially my journey. So please give a round of applause for yourself, for your presence here today. Thank you. And the team of volunteers, I like to thank Shahid Mughal and his family. He's, he's the one who, we were looking for a venue and he was the one who found the venue. And his family, actually his daughter made that flyer, and whole family was here before I came here today for setup. And Tahir Rahman family, the both girl, Tahir Rahman, he's someone I look up to always, comes out very strongly for any given cause. Look, civic engagement is really important. I think if I didn't get involved in political process, I wouldn't become an MP. This was an Iraq war era. We were running through emotions as we're running through now from last 7 months. And there was one voice. I learned that voice through newsletter I would get at my home. And that voice was by MP at the time, Carolin Parish. The nomination opened between two sitting MPs, and I felt that obligation, that it's my responsibility that the person who raised her voice for a justice, for right thing, for right reason, showed a leadership, I need to go and help her. And that's how I started. And she gave me space. She gave me confidence. I was new. I was raw. I didn't know ABC of politics here in Canada. But it was just the only thing I had, that commitment that we need to go out and work. I was working in a warehouse at the time. And the people who give excuses that we're tired, we're busy, we don't have time. I was working in a warehouse from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I was a product selector at the time. It was physical job. But I would come home, take a shower, and I would run to her office. Take membership form and go meet people, get their membership done. And every single day, I had membership for her. And one day she called me. She said, Shafqat, you have done over 400 membership for me. You want to be on the board of director? And honestly, I did not know what the board of director, what the functions are. I didn't know. I'm like, it's your choice. So she put me on the slate in a founding meeting. We had this new writing. And that's how I started learning politics. And that journey brought me here because of that confidence given by her, the space given by her, because not too many brown people, they were involved in the politics. They would not be seen. Auntie Mubin was first one. She ran for school board trustee. She opened the door. This journey, it's for the people who contributed, who started. And that's why we're here. If they didn't start that work at the time, like decades ago, we wouldn't be here. So it is really important. Everyone, like, I had a family back home, mother, sisters. I was supporting family. I was paying my expense here. But also, I was taking my time out to go and help out. People see me, the member of parliament, but they don't see that struggle. We want to become somewhere, but we're looking for shortcut. This is an opportunity for us. Just because she knows how to get things done, she was able to resolve that issue as a Ward 5 councillor, and now we'll have a biggest cricket pitch coming in here in Mississauga, and 150-acre land will be for a park for the public. So that's how she comes. And I remember we used to go in Toronto. There's so much history. I just want to go back and give you why Carolin Parish. It's not just my love with her that, I learned politics. Why? Because the things she has done. We used to have Canada Day fireworks celebration in Toronto, Lakeshore, if some of us remember that. I went to her one day and I said, Carolyn, why can't we have it in Mississauga? Because we started in Shalimar, but it was illegal. So kids, they would come together, we do, fireworks. What she did is she didn't say anything. And close to Canada Day, she called me. She said, Shafkat, you have 4 buses. You bring the community from Shalimar because we had single mothers, we have seniors, who are people who would not have means of transportation, who depend on a public transport. That we're doing, I have raised over $300,000 from private sector to do a firework, a city of Mississauga, and you bring your community. I brought 4 buses there. The first, that she's the one who started here. We enjoy every day like all Mississauga. So I was listening to Nab Bhatia, that what you have done with the tennis court, basketball court. It was a private sector money, and that's how she gets things done. And her vision for Mississauga and her experience, I think, is unmatchable. We need someone. One of my friend, he has a home close to Heartland. He was living abroad. He had an auto withdrawal of his property tax. Somehow the payment changed or something happened. That payment didn't go through. City stopped taking money from his account. The guy didn't know. Over the time it got built up, he didn't look his account. All of a sudden, when he came here, he received those notices, so you have to pay this much penalties, and it was in thousands. So he wrote a letter to her and sent me an email. No, he called me, and I said, why don't you send your email to your counselor? And it happened to be Carolin Parish. And I called Danny, her assistant at the time. He was trying hard to get that waived because it was not his mistake. It was due to bureaucratic error. But he was being paid, he was being forced to pay that fine. When it brought to her attention, she said, no, it's your fault. It's not taxpayers' fault. You can't ask him to pay penalty. And it was waived. Thank you, Carolyn. That's how she takes things seriously. So I again want to thank you all. MC said that she was gonna invite her. I'm like, I'll save most of the things, and I want to take this honor to invite her to listen to her for her vision for the Mississauga, and how she has a leadership, she has a vision, but we want to hear from her. So please give a warm welcome to Carolin Parish. But before that, look, you can clap, you can give applause, you can come here, and if we don't vote, honestly, it means nothing. To give you an example, Toronto mayor won her election in advance poll. She lost election on election day because it's a working day, people get busy. On election day, she lost election. When the result of advance poll was added, that's where she won the election. And also Umar Al Gabra, who lost his election by 300 votes, it was because of the advance poll. Advance poll is happening June 1st and June 2nd. I request all of you, because you made effort to come here, not only your family, but everybody around you, please take that responsibility, become a captain, be responsible, make them to cast vote and vote Carolin in advance poll, so then we can celebrate on June the 10th. That is my humble request, and a lot of friends who were going to City Hall, casting their vote and sending me messages, and I've been forwarding that. It gives so much satisfaction that with time we spent, effort we make, all the volunteers, it paid off. My friend, our mayor, our worship, Mayor Carolin Parish.
Thank you very much. Moving, you're right, that was very slippery. But I had a very nice gallant man to help me. Assalamu alaikum. I'm very happy to see you all here today. I did the same thing, Shafkat. I was going to make some notes, and I thought it was getting longer and longer and longer. So I thought, I'm not going to do that. We're not here to listen to a whole bunch of words. We're here to understand how powerful you are. Now, Shafkat left a little part of the story of our friendship. He came bounding in, and this was a March. It was a terrible, cold, wet nomination. And I was forced to run against Steve Mahoney. And so we had one heck of a battle. When you have two sitting MPs, it's very difficult. And I was moving into an area that he was very strong in. But in bounces Shafkat and Ashfaq and a couple of his crew. And I looked at them and I thought, where did they come from? So for at least 3 weeks, I wondered if he was a spy from the Mahoney team. One day he came in soaking wet, icicles hanging from his ears, and handed in some more memberships. And I said, no, you can't be a spy. Nobody's that good. So he has been a boon companion to me. He's been a fantastic companion. And Mubin, you're an absolute saint. You are the most wonderful lady. She single-handedly made sure Shalimar got built. And that is just the sort of thing we should be doing for people. And the two young ladies, thank you very much, and the other speakers. This is really rewarding to see so many people here that care about our city. And the thing that's really interesting is the comments one of the young ladies made, I will address, because I am really big on keeping our young people in Mississauga. Despite the fact we're the 7th largest city in Canada and the 3rd largest in Ontario, we lost 40,000 people since the last census. And they're mostly the ages of these young ladies because they can't afford to rent, rent's too high. They can't afford to purchase unless they go to the bank of mom and dad. And if you've got several kids, you can't help them. So we have to do something to produce, and Cushmont will know, the more empty houses and the more empty apartments you have, the better the price is. We have none. So we've got to do something to build more housing. And we also have to make sure that we liven the downtown a little bit more. Nobody goes to our downtown. When they see I'm going downtown for the evening, they're going to Toronto. And we want them to stay here. So I've got a massive long list of things that I'm going to do. But I want to finish the Shafkat story.
Steve Mahoney, when he lost, and he lost pretty soundly, he came over to me, he said, "You out Muslim to me." I said, "What does that mean?" He says, "Those guys running around the streets getting all those memberships for you, and then they all came out and voted." And that's the track record you set, and that's what you're doing again for me now. And we got in the advanced polls for the last 2 days. They actually have your names and who voted, and almost 40% of the names were Muslim names. So you not only said you were gonna go out and vote, you not only said you're gonna vote early, you actually showed up. So that's a really good start, and I'm gonna out-Muslim the other candidates. We have actually 121,000 Muslims in Mississauga. And as Shafkat said, it's the biggest group in any city in Canada. And we are very proud of that group. It's growing and it's really important. And I'll tell you something, where you live, everybody talks about crime. Where you live, your kids are brought up to respect property, to respect each other, and to respect life generally. We don't have problems there. Problems are elsewhere. So I'm really proud of the type of parenting that you do. It's really important. Now, I'm not going to go into the boring details of how I'm going to create more housing, except I'll tell you a couple of ideas. Because if you look around the city, you'll see there's not a lot of vacant land. But what we do have is a big strip of vacant land running up Highway 10 here in Ontario, where the LRT is going to go. And it is foolishly been zoned office space for 20 years. Nobody's built an office. And now after COVID, nobody is ever going to build an office on that property. So all those gentlemen and ladies that bought that property in the 1990s paid peanuts for it. So I'm going to call them all in individually, and I'm going to say, okay, if you agree to calculate in the cost of the land at what you paid it instead of what it's worth today, I will rezone that land for you. Mixed use. I want an apartment building there, and then you can put some stores and some restaurants around it. If they agree to that, then we sign a legal document, and there's a thing now, and you should never give me this much power. There's a thing Mr. Ford has done that says that mayors have strong mayor power when it's to do with housing. So I only need 3 other votes on council to do these deals with the developers. So I'm gonna do them. And the guys that don't want to, I should have brought some photos with me, but my new newsletter is coming out this week. It's gonna be delivered by Canada Post. Every apartment, every house, every townhouse will get one in the next couple of days. But there's also a second way of building more housing, and that's, I'll give you the example of Heartland. You look at Heartland between Mavis and McLaughlin along Matheson. Heartland wants to take all those stores out. And what they've shown me that's gonna go in there is 22 apartment buildings, mid-size, and a lovely greenway park. And they're gonna have much happiness because they have a captive audience to shop in the stores they've got left. And the neighbors to the south aren't gonna be upset. They're single family houses, but there's gonna be a height limit over there. That passed through the region where I was the planning chair. It failed at the city. Because we have a lot of councillors on council right now that are what they call NIMBYs. They don't want anything to happen. They don't want anything to change. So with the strong mayor powers, I only need 3 of them. And I'm sure I can get 3. There's 3 or 4 good people there that, the others are good too. They just have a different interest. So rezoning plazas, there's one on Burnhamthorpe owned by Safe Centers, wants a big rezoning. And there's one in Meadowvale, they want a big rezoning. So those are the ways you build more houses. And it's not crazy expensive because we've got all the pipes in, we've got the roads in, we've got the schools in. We have 4 empty schools right now in Mississauga that are just sitting there boarded up. So you can get the kids back into those buildings. So that is one issue that was brought up. The second issue that was brought up was the downtown. The Living Arts Center has been sitting there like an old dinosaur for many years. It's crazy expensive. And if you want to rent space there, they take your arm and your leg and all your front teeth. Very expensive. And if you cancel for some reason, you lose your money. So that has to be completely revamped. There's a developer, Emicon, that has shown me several plans whereby the land on the very corner of the LIC, there's a big metal thing there, I don't remember what they call it, but it's just a piece of vacant land. He said if we let him have that land for 100 years on the lease so he could build a convention center and apartments above it, he'll rebuild the Living Arts Center the way we want it for free. And as far as youth are concerned, I have an example that I can give you, a very concrete example. You can go visit it. Up in Malton, I was doing a tour when I was first elected, and there was big heavy chains on doors at the end of 2 hallways. I said, what do you have in there, lions and tigers? And they said, no, a dead swimming pool. It's an Olympic-sized pool we can't repair. So what we did was I got 6 million from the region, 5 million from the city, and we start putting together a plan for a youth hub. Malton has a lot of new Canadians just passing through until they get successful. They also have a lot of people who are fundamentally poor. So their kids get into trouble because there's nobody home after school, there's no place to go. They go hanging out with their older brothers and they get into gangs. So what we've done is we got 10 kids from the Catholic school, 10 kids from the public school. We made them the board of directors, just like I made Shafkat my board of directors. And they approved every inch of it. We have a $2 million recording studio in there designed by Metalworks. We have a $1 million teaching kitchen. It's the best teaching kitchen. The people who work in the golf courses that the city owns said they've never seen one like it, and they get all cranky. Well, we also have, and just before we built it, I was told because of COVID, it had gone up $1.7 million. So they said we have to cut out the mezzanine. And the mezzanine was where we have drug counseling, we have mental health counseling, we have job counseling. I said, you can't cut that out, that's the whole purpose. You make them really happy downstairs and then they feel comfortable, and then if they've got a problem, they go upstairs. So they said to me, I said, I'll raise the money. And they said, okay. I said, how long do I have? They said, you have 6 weeks. $1.7 million. So I was going to lunch that afternoon with a developer I know quite well and very successful. And he was on the phone with the Trillium Foundation. And I heard him offering them $44 million to name a wing after women and children, his family for women and children. So he got off the phone and I said, Benny, could you just give them 43? Why? I said, I need $1 million. And he looked at me and says, tell me what you need it for. So I showed him the plan. I had it with me everywhere I went. So he said, okay, I'll give you $1 million, and I'm still going to give Trillium 44 million. So the next 700,000 was easy because I kept showing them Benny's check. This is what I got from Benny. Why are you being a piker? So that's the sort of, as Shafkat implied, we can build things without raising your taxes. We can build things using community money. I know about 10 or 12 developers I could call today and get $1 million each for a youth hub. So I'm going to build 3 more of them. Not all at once, but I am going to build 3 more youth hubs in areas that need them. And the best part of that story is the police have been working closely with me, and it's been open since October. They've had 50, I exaggerate all the time, 50,000 visits since it opened in October. And the crime rate, the petty crime rate's completely gone. There's no more break-ins by youth. There's no more gang fights. And we named it after a young man who was killed in a gunfight with the Rexdale kids. Malton against Rexdale. And the sad part of it is, he was told to go back in the house to change his shoes from flip-flops to normal shoes because he was helping his dad on a job. And went back in, he got the shoes, he came out the door and was shot in the head and dropped dead right there. So I don't know what that father's going through. But what we ended up doing is naming it the Malton Youth Hub, Jonathan Davis Center. The kids chose that name. So anyway, I can go on for hours. and that will bore you to death. I just need to reinforce what Shafkat said. You showed this weekend when it was actually awkward. You had to go to City Hall to vote advance polls. And you are 40% of that vote that we got over the weekend. 2,880 votes on yesterday and about 1,800 the day before. And you're 40% of that. Now this weekend coming, you've got 2 days, but it's gonna be in your own communities where you live. And Mississauga has a new plan. You can vote anywhere you want to vote in a proper voting station. Where you work may be quite different from where you live. Where it's most convenient, you can vote. It's all computerized, so they know if you voted once, you can't vote twice. Make sure you take a piece of ID, and if you've got a new voter in the house, an 18-year-old, make sure they take something that shows their Canadian citizenship, a passport, or they used to give out citizenship cards. I'm told they don't do that anymore. But you have to be, if you vouch for your son or daughter, or they have the birth certificate with them, and most of the time they'll let you vote, even if you don't have all that paperwork, but you have to take one piece of photo ID with you. Now, I don't know, Shafkat disappeared. He has a habit of doing that. I don't know if he wants to invite Danny up to speak. Is Danny on the agenda? No? Okay. Then I will tell you, there's a young man here. Where are you, Danny? There he is at the back of the room where he belongs. He worked with me for 8 years. He worked on all the big projects. He worked on the hub. He worked on, we're building a $3 million agro-aero in Alton to bring in tourism, because there are agro-aero people all over the world. This is the first supersonic jet ever invented. It was here in Canada, but it got canceled because the Americans didn't want it to be their big prize. They wanted their Boeing plane to be used at NATO. So Danny's worked on all these projects with me. He's standing for my seat. And I resigned my seat right after I registered. Otherwise, if I won, it would take another 2 months to replace me and $500,000. So I'm gambling. I resigned my seat. Danny just stepped up to the plate. He knows Malton and Ward 5 like the back of my hand. And it's not, I don't want to endorse him because I want him to do this on his own, but I just wanted to introduce him here today so that you know he is the person that worked for me for 8 years. All the other candidates are claiming they worked for me for 8 years. So look at the slate carefully, and please continue your good work and keep getting people out to vote. That's the most important thing you can do for me ever. Thank you.
ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ 360 ਟੀਵੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਵਧਾਈ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਕੱਠ ਹੋਇਆ ਜੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਕੈਰੋਲਿਨ ਪੈਰਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਇਆ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਰਹਿ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ, MP ਵੀ ਰਹਿ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ। ਜੋ ਕਰੰਟ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਤੋਂ MP ਨੇ ਸ਼ਫਕਤ ਅਲੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਜੋ ਪੂਰ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਮਰਥਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਕੈਰੋਲਿਨ ਪੈਰਿਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਆਲ ਓਵਰ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਤੋਂ, ਆਲ ਓਵਰ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਭਰਵੇਂ ਇਕੱਠ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ 10 ਜੂਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਪੈ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਦੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਆਂ, ਅਤੇ ਕੈਰੋਲਿਨ ਪੈਰਿਸ਼ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਕੰਮ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਕੈਰੋਲਿਨ ਪੈਰਿਸ਼ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ 'ਚ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਜੁੜਨ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
थैंक यू गाया भाई जी, थैंक यू। आप कवर कर रहे हैं आज। ये थोड़ी सी गेट टुगेदरिंग थी। वी नो कैरन पेरिश फॉर द मेयर इलेक्शन, एंड the way she explained, I think it makes sense, and we need somebody to support it, the community, and supporting to Mississauga. It is going to be great help. Other than that, I think you're going to watch the video. There's lots of community here, and it is very well done. Hope it's going to be paid off once it's all done, and we have a very good mayor in Mississauga. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone, and I'm requesting to the whole community to support openly Parish Carolin. He is a very deserving candidate for the progress and for the Muslim community. So kindly come forward and support Parish Carolin. This is good for us. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
If you're eligible to come vote, please come vote for Carolina Parish. Come for early voting, June 1st. Come support Carolina Parish during the 2nd, and then on the 10th, come vote for Carolina Parish and don't waste your voice. And bring a piece of ID.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Casey Chauhan, and I am here as a community support for those who really deserve to win. Right now, it's Carolin Parish as the mayor of Mississauga. We need support for Muslims. What any non-foreigner, what any diverse, what any white or any other color can do for different communities. That's important, and that's how we vote. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Jamil. I'm here to support Karen, and this is the time that we can have a better change in Mississauga for the betterment of our future and our kids' future.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम राव ताहिर है और मैं रेजिडेंट हूँ मिसागा का। और मेरा ताल्लुक जो वार्ड 6 मिसागा से है और मिसागा माल्टन की राइडिंग है, फेडरल और प्रोविंशियल। तो मैं एनडीपी का राइडिंग प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, लेकिन मैं कैरोलिन पैरिश को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ मिसागा के मेयर के इलेक्शन के लिए। इनकी जो स्ट्रगल है, एक प्रोग्रेसिव लेडी हैं, उनका एक बहुत अच्छा प्लान है, विजन है उनका मिसागा के लिए। और मैं तमाम दोस्तों को और अपने सपोर्टर्स को और अपने दोस्तों को सबको दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि वो कैरोलिन पैरिश को वोट करें। बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू।
अस्सलाम, मेरा नाम शफकत अली, मैं मेंबर पार्लियामेंट ब्रैम्पटन सेंटर से। आज हमने यहाँ पर औताक बैंक्वेट हॉल में यहाँ पे जो मेयरल कैंडिडेट हैं कैरोलिन पैरिश, उनके लिए कम्युनिटी गेट टुगेदर यहाँ पर की थी। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ओवरवेलमिंगली कम्युनिटी और डिवर्स कम्युनिटी यहाँ पर आई है। पंजाबी कम्युनिटी भी थी, अफ्रीकन कम्युनिटी भी थी, पाकिस्तानी, इंडियंस, it's like from all over Mississaugas they were here और to show our support for Carolin Parish। और मैं सब दोस्तों का, कम्युनिटी की मेंबर्स का बहुत शुक्र अदा करता हूँ, शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, अल्लाह का शुक्र अदा करता हूँ और उनके जो हमारे कम्युनिटी है उनका बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि वो सब लोग यहाँ पर तशरीफ लाए, क्योंकि दिस वाज बाय इनविटेशन ओनली, ओपन नहीं था। और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत ओवरवेलमिंगली पार्टिसिपेशन हुई है। और मैं सबसे ये गुजारिश करूंगा सबसे कि देखें, वोट इकट्ठे हो जाना बहुत अच्छी बात है टू शो आवर सपोर्ट, लेकिन एक्चुअल अगर हम वोट नहीं डालेंगे तो इट वुड नॉट मेक ए डिफरेंस। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, देयर इज ह्यूज कम्युनिटी। और 1 जून और 2 जून को एडवांस पोल है, उसमें मेरी गुजारिश सबसे है कि खुद भी वोट डालें, अपनी पूरी फैमिली के से वोट डलवाएं और अपने जितने भी जानने वाले हैं उनको इनकरेज करें कि वो वोट डालें कैरोलिन पैरिश के लिए। मेयर की कैंडिडेट है और 10 जून को इलेक्शन है। लेकिन एक चीज बताता चलूं कि जो टोरंटो की मेयर मुंतखब हुई हैं वो एडवांस पोल की वजह से जीती हैं। इलेक्शन डे में लोग बिजी हो जाते हैं, वर्किंग डे है और उसमें समटाइम मसूफियत निकल आती है। तो मेक श्योर करें कि आप एडवांस पोल जो जून 1 और जून 2 को हो रहा है, और उसमें यह है कि अब सिटी में आपको कोई किसी स्पेसिफिक सेंटर पे नहीं जाना, आप कहीं पे भी जाके वोट डाल सकते हैं, तो आपका वोट काउंट हो जाता है क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक है और वो वहां पर उनके कंप्यूटर में आ जाता है, आप किसी भी जगह जाके वोट कर ले। तो मिसिसागा में मेयर के इलेक्शन के लिए जून 1, जून 2 एडवांस वोटिंग में वोट डालें कैरोलिन पैरिश के लिए। और अगर आप मिस कर जाएं एडवांस पोल तो 10 जून को जरूर वोट डालें। आपका बहुत शुक्रिया। और मैं टोरंटो 360 टीवी, हर्षद भट्टी साहब और साबिर गाया साहब और इनकी पूरी टीम का बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं कि ये ऑलवेज कम्युनिटी के इवेंट्स को कवर करते हैं और आप तक ये इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाते हैं।
All right, we're here today at a wonderful event in support of Carolin Parish for mayor of Mississauga. It's been a great evening, and we've heard from great speakers about different issues and things that are concerning Mississauga. So specifically, Carolin is going to focus on a lot of things and a lot of issues that are related to youth as well as local policy issues as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of things, you know, that concern housing affordability that is very crucial for youth like myself. And there's other factors like career opportunities. Mississauga is a huge hub, and we want to be able to, for Carolyn to vouch for those issues and create those opportunities for us as well. So we're here, and this event is really great. I'm having a great time.
And we would encourage all youth to vote for Carolin Parish for Mississauga Mayor.
मैं जनाब सबसे पहले शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ साहिर भाई का कि माशाल्लाह हर इवेंट्स में मौजूद होते हैं ये, और इस इवेंट्स को बहुत सक्सेसफुल किया माशाल्लाह। खास करके 360 टीवी की कवरेज हर जगह मौजूद होती है, और ख़ास करके जो इवेंट आज का इस्टेब्लिश किया गया है ये अपने शफ़क़त अली साहब ने माशाल्लाह कैरोलिन पैरिश सिलसिले में, तो वोट एक अमानत है, उस अमानत को इस्तेमाल करें और 10 जून से पहले अपना वोट कास्ट करें अपनी फैमिली के साथ। बहुत शुक्रिया।
हाँ जी, यस, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा नाम अशफाक खान है और यहाँ पर प्रोग्राम हुआ है औताक बैंक्वेट हॉल में मिसागा में कैरोलिन पैरिश के लिए, और हम सब लोग इकट्ठे हुए हैं कैरोलिन पैरिश की सपोर्ट के लिए और मिसिसागा मेयर के इलेक्शन के लिए। कैरोलिन पैरिश इलेक्शन जो है कॉन्टेस्ट कर रही है, और मैं सबसे दरख्वास्त है कि प्लीज़ एडवांस पोलिंग में और मैं जून 10 को कैरोलिन पैरिश के लिए वोट डालें।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं शाहिद मुगल। आज हम यहाँ पे कैरोलिन पैरिश की सपोर्ट के लिए इवेंट का इनकाद किया गया, जहाँ पे कम्युनिटी की मिसिसागा की पूरी कम्युनिटी ने बढ़ चढ़कर भरपूर शिरकत की और इस इवेंट को कामयाब करवाया। मैं दिली तौर पे मशकूर हूँ जनाब साबिर गाया साहब का, अरशद भट्टी साहब का टोरंटो 360 से, और आप सब बहन भाइयों से अपील है कि जून 10 को जो इलेक्शन होने जा रहे हैं, प्लीज़ कैरोलिन पैरिश को सपोर्ट करें और उसको वोटिंग के लिए ज़रूर निकलें।
I'm here tonight or this afternoon with about 300 people, all Muslims and some Sikhs. Very wonderful people have all come to tell me they're going to vote for me. Some have already voted in the advanced polls. I feel very, very comfortable that I get this support from such a strong community, and I hope they continue to vote and I will win this mayoralty. I'm very, very pleased. Thank you.
मिसागा में मेयर के इलेक्शन 10 जून को होने जा रहे हैं। आज औताक बैंक्वेट हॉल मिसागा में एमपी ब्रैम्पटन सेंटर जनाब शफ़क़त अली साहब और उनकी टीम ने एक प्रोग्राम का एहतमाम किया था, जिसमें मेहमान ख़ुसूसी जो उम्मीदवार हैं मिसागा से मेयर की कैरोलिन पैरिश मौजूद थी। कम्युनिटी के बहुत से लोग मौजूद थे, हर तबका फ़िक्र से लोग यहाँ मौजूद थे। मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के हवाले से बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट ये प्रोग्राम था आज, और बहुत से लोगों का ख्याल है कि कैरोलिन पैरिश ही वो बेहतर उम्मीदवार हैं जो मिसागा को बेहतरी की तरफ ले जा सकती हैं। कैमरामैन साबिर गाय के साथ मैं आपका मेज़बान अरशद भट्टी आपसे चाहेंगे इजाज़त। अल्लाह हाफिज़ और सपुर्द मौला।
I want to thank Toronto 360 TV for being here today and recording this wonderful meeting. It's been a real pleasure, and I thank them very much.